Thanks for calling United Healthcare.
Selena says she was diagnosed with lupus 5 years ago and the autoimmune disease attacked her kidneys. She revealed that news about the transplant to her 128 million Instagram followers last month, saying she would soon share her journey over the past several months. And she did just that in our candid and often emotional conversation.
I had arthritis. My kidneys were shutting down. My mentality was just to keep going. I didn't realize how much it was affecting my body.
This past summer, Selena Gomez was gravely ill, weeks away from dialysis and in desperate need of a new kidney. She returned to the home she was sharing with her close friend, Francia Raisa.
One day she came home and she was emotional. I hadn't asked anything. I knew that she hadn't been feeling well. She couldn't open a water bottle one day. She chucked it and she started crying. And I said, "What's wrong?" And that's when she told me. And she goes, "I don't know what to do. The list is 7 to 10 years long." And it just vomited out of me. I was like, of course I'll get tested.
Selena told Francia, an actress on the upcoming show Grownish, that Francia had too much happening in her life to even think about donating a kidney.
You insisted.
Yeah. I called her assistant and I said, "Give me the information. I want to do this."
How were you feeling in that moment?
She lived with me in this interesting time where my kidneys were just done. That was it. And I didn't want to ask a single person in my life. The thought of asking somebody to do that was really difficult for me. She volunteered and did it, and let alone somebody wanting to volunteer, it is incredibly difficult to find a match. The fact that she was a match, that's unbelievable. That's not real.
Francia immediately began the process of having her blood and urine tested. She completed a physical and psychological evaluation.
With our situation, because we were kind of an emergency situation, I did everything in like a day. And usually the process takes like 6 months. So it was really fast.
It becomes surgery day. Tell me about how you were feeling and what happened.
I wanted us to feel good.
Yeah.
So our friend came over and did cute little French braids for us.
And we couldn't eat after midnight, so we stuffed our faces.
I think I ordered
way too much food. Yeah. But I had to go in first. And when I woke up, I just was really calm.
Did you ever fear for your own health?
Yeah, I did. I had to write a will, which was scary because there's no guarantee you'll wake up.
And your family wasn't even sure when you told your mom. She was like, "What are you doing?"
My mom didn't want to be there until I woke up. She loves Selena, and so she was torn.
Before she was wheeled in, Francia asked to see her friend.
She came in and she, held my hand, and she's like, "Are you good?" I was like, "Yeah, we're doing this." And then they give you Valium to calm you down. I don't remember anything else.
Well, you did a little peace sign first, and then you went out.
Selena went into surgery next.
I remember waking up 2 hours after, and I saw my mom, I saw my stepdad, and I felt okay. I felt really good. And I got to see you and tell you I love you. And then I went back to my room, and I started to attempt to fall asleep. And in the middle of that process, I started hyperventilating, and there was so much pain there.
Doctors told Selena she'd have to go back into surgery. Her new kidney was turning around inside her body.
My teeth I was like grinding. I was freaking out. It was a 6-hour surgery that they had to do on me, and the normal kidney process is actually 2 hours. Apparently one of the arteries had flipped. I'm very thankful that there are people who know what to do in that situation.
What has the recovery been like?
What I wanted more than anything was that we were together, so I actually got a space for us to be in together. You know, you're on bed rest. You're allowed to walk an hour a day. You can't do any stairs or anything crazy.
It was hard because you constantly needed to ask for help.
Yeah.
I think one of the most humbling experiences was needing help to, put on underwear. We couldn't take showers by ourselves. I mean, it was a really brutal process.
Both Selena and Francia say it's their faith that guided them through this very emotional and private process.
You feel that Francia saved your life?
Because she did. That's it. I guess I got to the point where it was really kind of life or death. It's really hard to think about or even to swallow, especially now that as soon as I got the kidney transplant, my arthritis went away. my lupus, there's about a 3 to 5% chance it'll ever come back. My blood pressure is better. My energy, my life has been better.
A life-saving journey shared with the hope of helping others.
I really hope that we can help somebody. I really do. I don't think what we went through was easy. I don't think it was fun. And I hope that this inspires people to feel good, to know that there is really good people in the world.
Oh my God.
It's incredible
Wow.
to see these two in the relationship that they have. I mean, it feels like a sisterhood. And, I was just blown away to hear them talk. They're very private. I think they feel like they don't really want to ever talk about this again.
I don't know what the odds are to find a match in the general population, but to have that person living as your roommate?
Living right under your roof. I mean, they are women of faith, and they don't think it's any accident. Selena had her whole family tested. Nobody's a match. She didn't even tell Francia what was happening until that moment, and she blurted it out. And then, of course, Francia said, I'll be tested. And lo and behold, she's a match. And there they go. And it's an incredible story of friendship. And the reason they're telling it is they want to raise awareness.
I loved how when you asked her the question, and she said, when you said about saving your life, and she said, because she did.
Yeah, she kind of put me in my place. Like, I don't say it. She's like, that's what happened.
Thought,
you hear that phrase all the time, but this was for real.
Yeah. And Selena was really open about other things and how she dealt with her sickness. We think of this big star and what she was going through privately. She's a very honest and candid person, and we have a lot more on the show tomorrow with that part of the interview.
Great interview. That was great.
Savannah, thank you very much.
So now to more of our exclusive and emotional interview with Selena Gomez and her best friend and kidney donor, Francia Raisa. On Monday, they told us about the transplant that Selena told us saved her life. And this morning, she opens up like never before about what led to it, her 5-year battle with lupus.
I would get fevers, headaches, I would get fatigue, but I always just kept going. I kind of ignored it, to be honest, because it wasn't something that maybe I really wanted to accept.
For years, Selena Gomez rarely stopped. The pop star making new music, appearing on red carpets, in commercials, and even movies.
I don't think I made the right decisions because I didn't accept it, and that's extremely selfish and at the same time really just unnecessary. I'm not really proud of that.
It sounds like you're being hard on yourself. To me, it seems like, weren't you just a young woman who wanted to just not have to be sick?
Sure. Yeah, that would be easier if I just accepted that, but I am definitely the hardest person on myself for sure.
Selena finally took a break last year to deal with anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. Her close friend, Francia Raisa, was worried.
I went away to a facility. I took some time off. I needed to get my mind right, be healthy. I removed myself from everyone in my life.
I went 6 months without speaking.
Yeah, and just the fact that you have people in your life that can understand where you are, not judge you for it, not make you feel bad for it.
It was a huge lesson of friendship for me and trust, because it's easy to, feel offended or want to be there. It's just they need to go through their own thing.
I had everything, and I was absolutely broken inside. And I kept it all together enough to where I would never let you down, but I kept it too much together to where I let myself down.
You feel like you got caught up in the business or fame or that?
No, I definitely don't. No, I don't think I ever accepted the position I had. It was me almost feeling guilty about fame. Because people could see anyone in my position and just say, wow, they have it all figured out. They've got everything. They get to live this cool life.
So privately, it's a whole different feeling.
Yes, you're isolated. You're being looked at. You're being judged. I'm always trying to be nice. I want it to be great. Yeah. That's genuinely who I am deep down. But it just seemed pointless.
That anxiety and the panic and some of those parts of it, that's part of lupus. That's part of the condition, isn't it?
It is, because everything affects your body, too. I think that's a huge part of why I was feeling that way. I had a lot of fatigue. I wouldn't want to leave the bed a lot.
Today, Selena is feeling better than she has in years, all thanks to Francia's healthy kidney.
Francia, it takes a lot of courage to do what you did.
Yeah.
A lot. Where did that come from?
The only answer I have is God. Honestly, if I didn't have my relationship with God, I don't think I would have been able to.
What I believe is that it does happen for a reason. I think a huge part of my discernment and my honesty and my truth has been because I've had a relationship with God.
Both chose to share their health journey because they hope others will consider organ donation. Their story has already raised awareness about lupus.
Lupus has been a misunderstood disorder. Very few people knew what it was. All of that has changed, and it's no exaggeration to say the reason awareness is so much better now than it was is because Selena has been brave enough to tell her story.
Francia and Selena say they have no regrets.
I don't want people to think it's a sad thing that I went through this with Francia or with anything in my life. Because at the end of the day, I think all the stuff that I went through made me and defined everything that I am right now. I think it's a really beautiful thing, and I have to remind myself that it's not a negative experience.
It's so interesting to hear her so introspective. She's very candid. I mean, you saw the speech at the award show. She wants to be open and upfront about what she went through, what she learned, and how she talked about how she feels she failed herself.
And to hear her talk about her friendship and her faith and all those things, I mean, she's something special.
But also have come to that realization at such a young age is going to help her so much going forward.
Absolutely. Both Selena and Francia were young stars.
Well, I guess the first question is, how do you feel? How do both of you feel?
Francia?
Nervous right now. Yeah, but I feel good. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm in a good place.
Yeah, I think we were a little nervous. I think it was a very intimate thing.
Yeah.
And it was just, luckily, thankfully, between us for a while, so it's a little, weird.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking a little bit.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
We're happy to be here.
Feels strange to be telling the world this private story.
A little bit, yeah. And then I think the question of figuring out, what that means, that we all obviously went through that, and I know I've kind of lived my life in a position where people have seen a lot of it, but this is something that's important. This isn't something that's easy to talk about. Hopefully it's impactful, because what we experienced, we really hoped that it would be something that obviously saved my life, but also just to help other people too, because that's clearly why I feel like I have the platform on YouTube that we have.
Well, let's go back a little bit. Tell me how did this idea first come up? You two are best friends.
Yeah.
You knew, Francia, that Selena had been struggling with lupus.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it about the kidney?
Mine. We were living together at the time. Coincidentally, I was in transition, and I left to film in February, and when I came back, I had already put my suitcases in there, and I was like, okay, I'm about to look for a place, and something in my heart told me not to look yet. I felt God being like, just wait, and I actually told her that, and she goes, well, I like having you here, let's just wait it out a bit, and I didn't understand why, because I was so ready to just live on my own, and one day she came home, and she was emotional. I hadn't asked anything. I knew that she hadn't been feeling well, but I know her, and I know that, we both, when we get a certain way, just let us be. And she couldn't open a water bottle one day. She chucked it and just started crying, and I said, what's wrong? And that's when she told me. And she goes, I don't know what to do. The list is 7 to 10 years long. And it just vomited out of me. I was like, of course I'll get tested. And she didn't want me to do it. She goes, I can't. You have so much going on in your life right now, and there's a lot of downtime. And I felt a lot of peace about it, and there was no question. I was like, I'm going to get tested. You're my sister, of course. And so I called her assistant, and I said, give me the information. I want to do this.
So when Francia called you, Selena, and said, I got tested, and I'm a match, then what happened?
I definitely remember. I remember you wanted it to be a surprise, and somebody ruined it for you, so I'm sorry.
This is what happened. But you know what? I think it's a beautiful story still, because, I volunteered, but you don't really know what you're getting yourself into. And it's scary. They make you take a 2-hour course to kind of educate you on what giving up a kidney means for your life. And so it was just a scary process, learning everything. And I remember telling the nurses, like, okay, I'm going to find out first. And the donors always find out first. And they said, yes. I said, great. How much time do I have to make a decision? And they said, as long as you want. I was like, I just want to pray about it. I just want to talk to my pastor about it. I just want to feel that peace. So that was like my thing. But I know that in the back of my mind, I would have been like, God, I need a sign. I need something. And so she called me and said, hey, we're a match. And I was like, why are you telling me this? But in my heart, immediately I felt God being like, this is the affirmation that you needed and you wanted from me. So then I knew I got even more peace that this was something I was supposed to do. But I did have a surprise, and I made her pretend that she didn't know anything. I said, we're acting right now. This is a scene.
Very dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic. So I was like, I'm walking in. I had a case that I had engraved. It looked like a Bible. And on top of it, I had a quote that she gave me when we first started becoming friends. And it says, a sister's a forever friend. So I had that engraved, and then inside I had a kidney bean in there. And that was my way of telling her, that we were a match.
Very happy.
So, tell me a little bit about the process, because I think one of the reasons why it's important that we're talking is because there are a lot of people who wish they had a match,
right. Mm-hmm.
and there's a huge effort to have people donate if they can.
Yeah.
And that is an incredible gift to give, whatever the circumstances, whether to a friend or to a stranger.
Right.
So what was your process? What did you have to go through?
It's a lot of testing. You basically have to make sure, and the doctors make sure, that you're not just physically healthy, but mentally and emotionally healthy, because it is a very emotional process. Lots of blood work. I remember the first time that I went in, they took like 30 vials of blood. I'm just sitting there. I mean, I don't think my blood was even flowing anymore. It was so much. CT scans, X-rays, sugar drinks that I don't drink sugar, but they wanted to test your blood having fast for 12 hours, and then after you've had sugar, because diabetes is a risk, and that runs in my family. So it was a whole process, but with our situation, because we were kind of an emergency situation, I did everything in like a day. And usually the process takes like 6 months.
You feel like, I mean, because people, the notion of all of that private struggle and sadness is so in contrast to this beautiful, vibrant, successful superstar that the whole world saw.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm also kind of honest with where I am. As much as I want to be, I'm willing to share what I want to share. But at the end of the day, I have the exact same pressure of everyday stuff. But I never viewed myself as that. I think that's when it gets dangerous. I never viewed myself as anything other than who I am. And I am very aware I have a platform. I've always tried my hardest to use that for positive. And in a way, that platform has saved me from myself a lot. Because I wouldn't want anybody to experience what I've experienced. I wouldn't want anybody to hurt or understand or feel alone. And I get it. I'm constantly on things. I'm distracted by the world and the ways of the world, my generation. I think it's very difficult to be living in my time right now with our girls our age. It's really hard, and I've always just wanted to exude and show people that I'm not unattainable. You're not looking at someone that's, you've got everything. That's not the case. I love what I do. I work really hard. I have worked really hard. But at the end of the day, I'm a person, and if I could let people know that they're looking at things that sometimes aren't real, they need to understand that they're beautiful, they're real, they're going through things, and it's completely okay. That's why I'm so fortunate that it was one of my best friends that I got to experience this with. And we actually met somebody shortly after that you're close with who had a transplant too, and then you just have this whole new perspective on people that go through something. A stranger giving somebody else a kidney is even amplified, because there are people who are so good that they want to help somebody, and that's so beautiful and rare, and people need things. Nobody's aware of half the things that doctors and, lupus or cancer or, a kidney transplant, an organ, heart transplant, all these things. I don't think people are aware of how much that's in need. And there are simple things you can do, like even just donating blood, or maybe just being aware, talking about it, putting on your license and accepting maybe I do want to be a donor to to when I don't need my body anymore. Not that's a big deal, but I'm just saying there are things that you can do, and I think that's something that's important. I think people should be aware of that too. And I don't know. I think that's
it's definitely a rewarding experience, especially because a few weeks afterwards, my friend called me and she said, "Hey, I heard about what you did. My boyfriend's doing it tomorrow anonymously. He didn't know who he was giving it to," and I was like, "Wow,
so cool."
Yeah, let me talk to him because I know exactly how this feels. And a lot of information that I had given him, we were so lucky. We have amazing, amazing doctors, and half the stuff I told him, he didn't know.
Did you ever, in your hardest moment, think, why did I do this?
No, I never regretted it at all. I'm actually really honored and grateful that I was
Hmm.